system in which interlocking of railway signaling functions is achieved purely through relays is called relay interlocking system. Relay interlocking is to be provided as per IRS specification S3687 Amendment Number 2. These are classified as non-route setting type relay interlocking system, earlier known as panel interlocking or PI. Route setting type relay interlocking system, earlier known as route relay interlocking or RRI. In the non-route setting type relay interlocking system, points in the route, overlaps, isolation are to be set individually by pressing concerned point buttons, and finally for clearance of signal, the signal button along with the route button to be pressed. In route setting type relay interlocking system, one single operation of pressing simultaneously signal button and concern route button will initiate the points in route, in overlap and isolation to set and signal to get cleared if all the conditions for taking off signal are satisfied. Advantages of relay interlocking in railway signaling are remote control of functions over long distances, that is, there is no limitations for operation of points and signals, as in vis-a-vis with single wire signaling and double wire signaling. Fast, efficient and easy operation of gears, that is, for centralized operation, pressing of 2 feather touch buttons. Less maintenance as compared to that of lever frames. There is no mechanical gears, less wear and tear, and mainly does not require overhauling. More safety, that is fully track-circuited, all indications are available with Station Master. No periodical overhauling, hence does not require non-interlocking work. Features of metal-to-metal relay interlocking system. Domino types of panels are introduced with this system. The construction of control panels are done with geographical representations of the yard by assembling small sections of domino strips fixed on the frame of a suitable size. It is based on entrance and exit principle. The operator has to operate signal button at the entry of the route along with the route button near its exit simultaneously. This forces the operator to face the panel and make a conscious choice of buttons. Uses self-restoring push buttons. For any operation, 2 buttons are to be pressed simultaneously. 60 volts relay operations, quick operation and low coil current rating. Basic relay used is K50 relay or ABB metal-to-metal relays of proved type. Relay picked up proved de-energized before picking up again. Uses relay groups and mechanical interlocked relays.
Uses mercury type flasher relay. This is capable of working for ages.
Modular design, domino strips and relay groups make it possible for alterations. Interlocking and other vital conditions are proved in more than 1 stages of operation. Sectional route release is an inbuilt feature. Emergency full route release, emergency sub-route release, and emergency point operation. Features with counters are introduced with this system. These features facilitates for quicker traffic management with the help of signaling staff in times of track circuit failures. Provision of main and intermediate distribution frames for wiring connections between various relay units, relays and operating panel, as well as relays and external cables. All wires are terminated on tag blocks fixed on distribution frames, which saves the space required for terminations and facilitates for easy identification during testing and modifications. Fuses with indication tags in bottle type holders occupy less space and their failures can be easily detected. circuit drawings are vertical.
Small in size, hence occupies less space. Metal to metal contacts. Series double make and break contacts to kill spark faster. Elliptical shape of contacts, hence faster heat dissipation. Fast operating time, pickup time 25 to 60 milliseconds and drop away time is 15 milliseconds to 25 milliseconds. Less contact resistance 0.5 ohms when compared to metal to carbon contact 0.2 ohms. Current carrying capacity, switch current is 2 amperes and continuous current is 5 amperes. Self-wiping action. Independent contacts. Code prints 2 numbers to prevent wrong relay insertion. Guide pins to prevent wrong direction, that is inverted position.
Control panel is made up of rectangular panel sections called domino strips of length 54 mm and breadth 34 mm for new design, and length 63 mm and breadth 38 mm for old design are also available. Domino strips are arranged in a manner to depict the geographically layout of the yard as faced by the operator. Each domino strip consists of domino base and cover plate. Cover plate contains painted yard layout portion, buttons, indications, counters, keys on top of it as required. Once all the domino strips are assembled, they will depict the complete yard layout geographically with required buttons and others for operation. The yard layout will be painted with different colors to distinguish each track circuit portion of the yard. Usage of domino strips reduces the panel size and facilitates for easy modification to suit changes in the yard from time to time. Generally, peripheral dominoes are not used for providing any buttons or indications. A fiberglass is provided over the dominoes to prevent dust accumulation.
Warning buzzers are fixed inside the panel. All the panel strip wiring is terminated on tag blocks mounted inside the panel.
Actually contains 1 steel and 2 aluminum plates. Upper plate is steel plate and lower 2 plates are aluminum plates. They are clipped together from all 4 sides by the steel plate extensions and painted with slate grey color on top. The top plate of the panel can be removed from their bases with the help of a magnet because of its steel material. The top plate, according to its location, may carry track, point, or signal demarcation with slit cuts to size and shape. Transparent white or green films placed between the lower 2 plates as required give the needed colors of the indications through these slits. Buttons may be fixed on the top plate in a suitable location as required. The plates can be changed or modified as per alterations effected in the yard layout at any time. The panel sections are generally assembled in multiples of 5 both horizontally and vertically as per need. The dull gray color of the panel surface eliminates undesirable reflections. The panel is mounted horizontally in an inclined plane for the convenience of operation. In case of major yards, a separate illumination diagram made up of the same sections is mounted upright above the operating panel. The operating panel may have a simple line diagram of the yard with all demarcations excluding their illuminations. Compartments and 16 terminals. The 16th terminal is the base plate connection, that is, common negative. Each compartment is provided with a spiral spring loaded contact pin at its bottom center. When indication LED is inserted in any one compartment, cap of LED will definitely touch with common contact plate. Each compartment can have one bulb for indication as required. To prevent illumination from the adjacent compartment, separators made of aluminum foils or plastic or fiber sheets are used. The location numbering of panel sections when their bases are fixed to the frame is as below. The location of any panel section is identified by its column number followed by its row number. For example, the shaded section in the panel above bears the number of 4 and 3, that is, 4th column and 3rd row. The contact terminal number 8 of this section is identified by the number 8 and 4 and 3, that is, Domino's 8th compartment, 4th column, 3rd row. A button fixed on the top plate above has a steel bridge. Its vertical limbs extend below into any adjacent base compartments and rest close to the contacts at the bottom. 2 compartments are required for providing one push button for operation. These contacts are bridged when the button is pressed. The button is of self-restoring type, opening the contact normally. All signaling functions having manual control will be operated by pressing 2 buttons simultaneously and releasing them within 10 or 15 seconds. That is, in the case of root setting interlocking, buttons shall be kept pressed till the last pair of points in the root starts operating. Main signals clear after the buttons are released, whereas shunt signal buttons shall be released after the signal has come off. Buttons required for a vital operation can only be accessed with both hands. This ensures conscious operation by the operator. There are individual control buttons for each gear located near to their panel demarcation, and common buttons are located at the top of the panel. The various panel control buttons used with metal-to-metal relay interlocking system are shown in the table below. GN button, that is, main signal button, which is red in color and located close to concerned signal demarcation on the track on control panel. SHGN button, that is, shunt signal button, which is yellow in color, was located close to concerned signal demarcation on the track on control panel. UN button, that is, root button, which is gray in color and located center of the berthing track or last control track circuit on control panel. UN by 1 button, that is, root button with alternative overlap button, which is gray in color and located at berthing track on control panel. WN button, that is, point button used only for point operation, which is blue in color and located close to concerned point demarcation on control panel. WN button, that is, point button used for point operation and also for sub-root release, which is blue with white dot on top in color, is located close to concerned point demarcation on control panel. LXN button, that is, level crossing button, which is green in color, is located close to level crossing demarcation on control panel. KLN button, that is Point Key Lock Release button, which is green in color, is located close to the key locked point demarcation on control panel. COGGN button is a common calling on signal control button that is common, which is red in color, is located at the top of the control panel. EGGN button is a common button to replace a cleared signal to on, which is red in color, is located at the top of the control panel. YYN button is a common slot release button, gray in color, is located at the top of the control panel. YRN button is a common slot return acknowledgement button, which is gray in color, is located at the top of the control panel. WWN button is a common point button for regular operation, which is blue in color, is located at the top of the control panel. EWN button is a common point button for emergency operation, which is blue in color, is located at the top of the control panel. CHYN button is a crank handle release button, which is green or glue in color, is located at the top of the control panel. CHYRN button is a crank handle slot return acknowledgement button, which is green or blue in color, is located at the top of the control panel. AGGN button is a common button to introduce auto working of a main signal, which is red in color, is located at the top of the control panel. AGGRN button is a common button to cancel auto working of a main signal, which is red in color, is located at the top of the control panel. EUYN button is a common emergency subroute release button, which is blue with white dot, is located at the top of the control panel. EUUYN button is a common emergency full route release button, which is gray in color, is located at the top of the control panel. OYN button is a common overlap release button, which is gray or white in color, is located at the top of the control panel. GXYN button is a signal lamp failure alarm acknowledge release button, which is red in color, is located at the top of the control panel. WXYN button, point detection failure alarm acknowledge button, which is blue in color, is located at the top of the control panel. Day button is a signal lamp voltage control button for daytime lighting button, which is white or gray in color, is located at the top of the control panel. Night button is a signal lamp voltage control button for nighttime lighting button, which is white or gray in color, is located at the top of the control panel. 1, 2 button is a panel lamp voltage control buttons for 2 stages of light intensity button, which is gray or white in color, is provided for bright and dim indication on the control panel. Buttons EWN and EUYN are normally obstructed for operation by a sealed disc below the button. Before operation, seal has to be broken, seal wire to be removed, and the disc below the button turned to free it by the operator. In case of EUYN button, a key control also provided in addition to the seal. After each operation, the operator has to get resealing done on the disc by the signaling staff. Station Master Key, SM key. It enables the provision for authorized operation of the panel. This key is with the on-duty station master. When the SM's key is out, no operation is possible on panel except throwing the clear signal to on position. Emergency subroute cancellation key, EUYN key. This key is kept in custody of on-duty signal engineer or technician. Without this key, emergency subroute cancellation is not possible. To record each emergency operations, counters are provided close to the concerned emergency operation buttons at the top of the panel. The following counters are available on the control panel. EWZ counter, known as Emergency Point Operation Counter. EUYZ counter, known as Emergency Route Section Release Counter. EUUYZ counter, known as Emergency Full Route Release Counter. OYZ counter, known as Overlap Release Counter. COGGZ counter, known as Calling On Signal Operation Counter. CHZ counter, known as Crank Handle Release Operation Counter, is individual for each crank handle group. Some panels do not have OYN. In its place, EUUYN is utilized instead of OYN. Different types of control panels used with metal-to-metal relay interlocking system are operating-cum-indication panel. Normally, such types of panels are preferred for small or medium yards. This panel is provided with control buttons and indications. Indication panel, operating panel, maintenance panel. Normally, such types of panels are preferred for bigger yards. Indication panel is provided for clear visibility of indications. In bigger yards, it is provided vertically in a semi-hexagonal shape to cover visually more area in a short span. It is associated with a separate operating panel located in between the indication panel and the operator. It is provided with buttons, keys, counters, etc. used for operation on simple and relatively small line diagram of the yard. Bigger yards also associated with maintenance panel, which is provided in or near the relay room with only indications for the convenience of the maintenance staff. Control panel with indication lamps. In this panel, its indications are illuminated with indication lamps or LED lamps. Introduction. The precautionary steps needs to be followed are: any of the operation requires on-duty station master permission for testing and maintenance. If the operations are for failure rectification, obtain proper written memo from on-duty station master and issues S&T disconnection memo. For any operation, ensure SM key isn't. Individual point operation. The procedure that needs to be followed for individual point operation is: press the common point button WWN along with the concerned point button WN simultaneously. This will operate the point from its present position to other position. Now, press again the common point button WWN along with point button WN to operate point from reverse position to normal position. point operation. The steps that needs to be followed for emergency point operation is: Step 1. When point zone track circuit is failed, after ensuring non-occupation of track circuits, break the seal on disk beneath emergency point operation button EWN and turn it to free EWN. Step 2. Press the emergency point operation button EWN along with concerned point button WN and release to operate points from present position to reverse position. Step 3. Press the emergency point operation button EWN along with concerned point button WN and release to operate point from one position to other. During every emergency point operation counter EWZ will register this operation by increasing in one number. Main signal clearance operation. The procedure that needs to be followed for main signal clearance operation is: in panel interlocking PI, route is already set by individual point operation. Press the concerned signal button GN and route button UN button simultaneously and release. In route relay interlocking RRI, route is set, that is, points get operated to the required position automatically after pressing of GN and UN buttons. In both cases, RRI and panel interlocking system, signal operation method is same. Calling on signal clearance operation. The steps that needs to be followed for calling on clearance operation is: Step 1. After the train occupies the calling on signal approach track circuit, press signal button GN along with calling on signal button COGGN. Step 2. Keep signal button GN pressed and release the calling on signal button COGGN and press concerned route button UN and then release both. Timer indication will start to flash on panel. Step 3. After 120 seconds, timer indication disappears and calling on signal off indication appears. This calling on operation is registered by the counter COGGZ. Shunt signal clearance operation. The procedure that needs to be followed for shunt signal clearance operation are: press the concerned shunt signal button SH, GN and concerned route button UN simultaneously and release. Shunt signal gets cleared before the buttons are released. In both cases, route relay interlocking and panel interlocking operation method is same. In panel interlocking PI, route is already set by individual point operation, and in route relay interlocking RRI, route is set after pressing of signal button GN and route button UN. Run-through signals from main line. Run-through signals are possible only after obtaining line clear from advanced block section. Step 1. Press concerned signal button GN and route button UN simultaneously and release. For advanced starter clearance, advanced starter will display green aspect on panel. Step 2. press concerned signal button GN and root button UN simultaneously and release for main line starter clearance. Main line starter will display green aspect on panel. Step 3. Press concerned signal button GN and root button UN simultaneously and release for home signal clearance. Home signal will display green aspect on panel. Once home signal displays green aspect, distant signal will change to green aspect. All the above three signals will display green aspect. It is called through signals via main line. Crank handle release operation. The steps that needs to be followed for crank handle release operation are:
Step 1. With no signal route is set over the point zone, the panel operator advises the man at site to cooperate for crank handle release.
Step 2. At site, a push button on the crank handle key lock relay box is pressed by authorized person. When a white indication near crank handle release button CHYN on the panel extinguished and red indication flashes on panel. Step 3. The operator now presses crank handle release button CHYN along with the common slot release button YYN simultaneously. Step 4. A steady red LED indication appears on crank handle key lock relay box. Then the key is extracted. The steady red LED indication on the box remains. The above crank handle slot operation is registered by concerned crank handle counter, that is CHZ counter. Crank handle return operation. The steps that needs to be followed for crank handle return operation are described below. Step 1. After completion of crank handle operation, crank handle is released from the point machine . Step 2. Key is reinserted in the crank handle relay box and it gets locked. Crank handle red indication disappears and crank handle white indication starts to flash on panel near CHYN button. Step 3. Seeing this, the panel operator has to press CHYN along with common slot return button YRN simultaneously and release. Step 4. The flashing white indication will become steady. Level crossing gate key release operation. The steps that needs to be followed for gate slot release operation are: Step 1. When signal routes involving the level crossing gate, that is LC gate, is normal, the panel operator presses level crossing button LXN along with common slot release button YYN simultaneously. Step 2. The steady white indication near level crossing button LXN on the panel starts flashing. Step 3. A steady red indication appears on the level crossing key lock relay box at site. Step 4. When the push button on the box is pressed, the key lock relay picks up and releases the key. Step 5. When the key is extracted, the steady red LED indication on the box remains. Level crossing gate key return operation. The steps that needs to be followed for gate slot return operation are: Step 1. The flashing white indication near LC gate button on the panel disappears and a flashing red indication appears. Step 2. After the LC gate is closed, when the key is reinserted in the key lock relay and turned, the relay drops. The flashing red indication at level crossing gate button on the panel disappears and the flashing white indication reappears. Step 3. On seeing this, the panel operator presses level crossing button LXN along with slot return button YRN simultaneously. The slot gets withdrawn and the white indication becomes steady. At sight, the red LED indication on the box now disappears. Key lock point release operation. The steps that needs to be followed for key lock point release operation are: Step 1. When signal routes involving the key locked point are normal, the panel operator presses key locked point button KLN along with common slot release button YYN simultaneously. Step 2. The steady white indication near key locked point button on the panel starts flashing. Step 3. A steady red LED indication appears on the key locked point relay box at sight. Step 4. When the push button on the box is pressed, the key lock relay picks up and releases the key. The flashing red indication appears near key locked point button on the panel. When the key is extracted, the steady red LED indication on the box remains. Key lock point return operation. The step that needs to be followed for key lock point return operation are: Step 1. After the LC gate is closed, when the key is reinserted in the key lock relay and turned, the relay drops. Step 2. The flashing red indication at key locked point button on the panel disappears and the flashing white indication reappears. Step 3. On seeing this, the panel operator presses key locked point button KLN along with slot release button YRN button simultaneously. The slot gets withdrawn and the white indication becomes steady. At sight, the red LED indication on the box now disappears. Station master key, that is, SM key in, is not necessary for this operation. Throwing cleared signal to on. The procedure that needs to be followed for throwing cleared signal to on operation is: after clearance of signal for reasons deemed fit, cleared signal can be thrown to danger at any time by pressing concerned signal button GN and emergency signal button EGGN simultaneously. SM key in is not necessary for this operation. Emergency full route cancellation. The steps that needs to be followed for emergency full route cancellation operation are: already signaled route can be cancelled in emergency. When approach track is not occupied, step 1. Emergency full route cancellation is possible only after throwing cleared signal to danger. Step 2. When signal assumes on aspect, press the signal button GN and emergency full route cancellation button EUUYN, and keeping GN pressed, release the EUUYN button and press the concerned route button UN. This will release the set route. Emergency full route cancellation counter EUUYZ will register above emergency full route cancellation operation. When approach track is occupied or with dead approach locking, step 1. Emergency full route cancellation is possible only after throwing cleared signal to danger. When signal assumes on aspect and train not passes the signal which was off earlier. Step 2. Press signal button GN along with emergency full route cancellation button EUUYN and keeping GN pressed, release EUUYN button and press concerned route button UN. Step 3. Flashing indication will appear on panel near concerned signal. After completion of 120 seconds, flashing indication will become steady. Step 4. Again repeat the procedure, pressing GN along with EUUYN and keeping GN pressed, release EUUYN button and press concerned UN button. Set route will get release. Emergency full route cancellation counter EUUYZ will register above emergency full route cancellation operation. Emergency subroute cancellation. The steps that needs to be followed for emergency subroute cancellation operation are: Step 1. On getting proper written intimation about the failure, authorized signal staff will break the seal of emergency subroute release button EUYN. Step 2. Insert the EUYN key and turn it. Press the EUYN button and the concerned point button, that is, point button with white dot on top. Set subroute with the point. Will get released immediately. Otherwise, follow these steps. Step 3. Press EUYN button and concerned route button, set subroute without point, will get released immediately. Step 4. EUYZ counter will register above emergency subroute cancellation operation. Take out the EUYN key after the operation. Reseal of EUYN button has to be done after the operation. Overlap cancellation. The steps that needs to be followed for overlap cancellation operation are: press the overlap release button OYN and concerned route button UN simultaneously. Set overlap will get release. This operation is registered by the overlap cancellation counter OYZ. Introducing automatic signal working. The procedure that needs to be followed for introducing automatic signal working operation are: take off through signals for the main line and then press the AGGN button and concerned GN button simultaneously to introduce the auto working of main signal. Cancellation of automatic signal working. The procedure that needs to be followed for cancellation of automatic signal working operation is: press the AGGRN button and concerned GN button simultaneously to cancel the auto working of main signal. Acknowledgement of signal failure. The procedure that needs to be followed for acknowledgement of signal failure is: whenever any signal is blank, S indication along with buzzer will appear on the panel. Press the GXYN button to acknowledge this signal failure. Buzzer will be stopped, but indication will continue till it is set right. Acknowledgement of point failure. The procedure that needs to be followed for acknowledgement of point failure is: whenever any point detection fails, P indication along with buzzer will appear on the panel. Press the WXYN button to acknowledge this point failure. Buzzer will be stopped, but indication will continue till it is set right. Panel deadlocked condition. The procedure that needs to be followed for panel deadlocked condition is: whenever any panel button gets stuck up for more than 10 to 15 seconds, NCR indication along with buzzer will sound. Indication along with buzzer will continue till the stuck button is made released by the station master. K50 relays. Classification on the basis of thickness of residual pin. The increase in residual pin thickness increases the sensitivity of the relay. A-type relays. The residual pin thickness is 0.35 millimeters. There are non-AC immunized neutral relays, neutral and interlocked relays. B-type relays. The residual pin thickness is 0.15 millimeters. These are AC immunized neutral relays. Double coil relays, UECR. E-type relays. The residual pin thickness is 0.45 millimeters. These are on ECR, RECR, off ECR, DECR. K50 relays are proved type metal-to-metal contact relays. These are provided with maximum 8 numbers independent contacts. These relays are available with different contact configurations. General configurations for neutral and interlocked relays are 4F, 4B, 5F, 3B, 6F, 2B. Special configurations are 5F, 1B, UECR, 3F, 3B, on and off ECR, 2F, 2B, WJR, and 2F, 2B, WR. These relays work on 60 volt DC. The following table shows the in non-AC immunized neutral relay type with contact configuration 4F, 4B, having relay coil resistance 1260 ohms for contact configuration 5F, 3B, having 1060 ohms and 6F, 2B with relay coil resistance 1840 ohms. In interlocked relay type with contact configuration 4F, 4B, 5F, 3B, 6F, 2B, having relay coil resistance of 650 ohms. In AC immunized relay for both top and bottom relays type has contact configuration 5F, 3B, having relay coil resistance of 1840 ohms. In AC immunized relay with top AC immunized and bottom non-AC immunized relay with contact configuration 5F, 3B, having relay coil resistance 1840 ohms. In double coil relays type Z1WR1, Z1NWR, Z1RWR, WKR3, Z1WR, and WLR having relay coil resistance of 1340 ohms in first coil and 1590 in second coil. In UECR relay type with contact configuration 5F1B having relay coil resistance of 64.1 ohms. In on-ECR relay type with contact configuration 3F3B having relay coil resistance of 64.1 ohms. In off-ECR relay type with contact configuration 3F3B having relay coil resistance of 64.1 ohms. In WKR1 relay type with contact configuration 5F3B having relay coil resistance of 1840 ohms with pickup current is 17 to 19 milliamperes, but normal working current is 27 milliamperes. In WKR2 relay type having relay coil resistance of 52.3 ohms with pickup current is 120 milliamperes. In WJR relay type with contact configuration 2F2B having relay coil resistance of 1840 ohms of 2500 millifarad capacitor in series with 39 ohms resistor to make slow to release not less than 10 seconds. In WR heavy duty contactor relay with contact configuration 2F2B having relay coil resistance of 60 ohms, pickup current is 1 ampere and holding current is 100 milliamperes plus or minus 10 milliamperes with 600 ohms, 25 watts resistor in series. Numbering. Relay coils and contacts are numbered as follows. In top relay, the terminal numbers 1 and 2 spare. The terminal number 11 and 12 used for top relay for contact numbers 02. The terminal number 21 and 22 used for top relay contact number 03. The terminal number 31 and 32 used for top relay contact number 04. The terminal number 41 and 42 used for top relay contact number 05. The terminal number 51 and 52 used for top relay contact number 15. The terminal number 61 and 62 used for top relay contact number 14. The terminal number 71 and 72 used for top relay contact number 13. The terminal number 81 and 82 used for top relay contact number 12. The terminal number 91 and 92 used for top relay coils. In bottom relay, the terminal number 0304 spare. The terminal number 13 and 14 used for bottom relay contact number 02. The terminal number 23 and 24 used for bottom relay contact number 03. The terminal number 33 and 34 used for bottom relay contact number 04. The terminal number 43 and 44 used for bottom relay contact number 05. The terminal number 53 and 54 used for bottom relay contact number 15. The terminal number 63 and 64 used for bottom relay contact number 14. The terminal number 73 and 74 used for bottom relay contact number 13. The terminal number 83 and 84 used for bottom relay contact number 12. The terminal number 93 and 94 used for bottom relay coils. The following types of relays are used in these systems of Siemens practice. In non-AC immunized K50 neutral control relay with RSSK30 by 0011 specification used for all controls except point motor feed. Switching in non-RE areas and internal circuits of RE areas purpose. In AC immunized K50 neutral control relay with RSSK30 by 0078 used for external circuit RE areas purpose. In K50 type RECR, DECRs, HECR, UECRs of main signals and off and on ECR of shunt signals with RSSK30 by 0013, RSSK30 by 0014 and RSSK30 by 0015 specification used for checking different signal lamps purpose. In K50 interlocked relays with RSSK30 by 0012 specification used for internal controls in cabins purpose. Point contactor relay with K9151 specification used for point motor feed switching. In motorized clockwork timer relay with RSSK30 by 0052 specification used for time control of locking releases and calling on signal clearance purpose. In mercury flasher relay with RSSK30 by 0096 used for 12-volt AC operation, RSSK30 by 0097 for 220-volt AC operation, and RSSK30 by 0098 used for 110-volt AC operations for generating flashing up indication supply purpose. In 3 aspects, signal group with RSSK3525 by 46 specification used for controlling the 3-aspect signal unit purpose. In 2-aspect signal group with RSSK3525 by 2 used for controlling the 2-aspect signal unit. In shunt signal group with RSSK3525 by 67 used for 1 group controls 2 number of shunt signals. In points minor group DRs 2-panel interlocking, that is PI with RSSK31 by 0001 specification used for point operation in panel interlocking. In root group with RSSK31 by 0002 specification used for root setting and release. In point major group with RSSK3515 by 19 specification used for point operation in root relay interlocking, that is RRI. In points chain group with RSSK3515 by 3 specification used for successive operation control of 8-point groups. In points switching group with RSSK3515 by 22 specification used for controlling remote points operation. In point contactor unit with RSSK21 by 0001A specification used for controlling points operation other than Siemens point machine